Ja! Rastafaro. Blessings and wholeness, family. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be sitting here talking about intuitive eating and how this is going to help you master the mystery of what you should eat and how much you should eat of it. So what is intuitive eating? Intuitive eating is basically getting a connection and understanding of how food interacts with your body. And by your body, I don't just mean the physical, I mean your emotional body, the spiritual body, I mean all these different bodies that you have to feed those and how food interacts with that. And intuitive eating for me it's been simplifying the whole process for me, because I don't know if any of you all have tried counting your calories. It's just so confusing. And it becomes so difficult if I want to make a meal with, say, 15 different veggies. And I gotta list every veggie and I put 2 chickpeas, you know what I mean? It's super impractical for me. So I just had to find a better, more effective way. And for me, I want to go back to the ancient ways. I want to go back to the classic ways of how we were doing it when we weren't full of all these illnesses and all these diseases. And that was just by understanding and having a connection to the food. And basically how that is helping me now is I know exactly what to eat, when to eat, how to eat it, and how that's gonna affect my body and how that's gonna affect my energy level, my emotions. And that puts the ultimate power back into my hands. So when you're counting calories, when you're relying on these external diets to say, oh, if you go ketogenic, you're gonna feel energized. Well, you're relying on some external source to tell you how you're gonna feel. But we need to know how we feel, which is why this method isn't that popular, because it is no one fit answer. There's no one answer for everybody. Everybody has a slightly different way that they're gonna tweak their method of eating to better fit their lifestyle. So what are some ways that you could take advantage of intuitive eating? One of the first ways that I feel you should be able to take advantage of intuitive eating is by keeping a food journal, or just keeping mental notes of how different foods, different meals make you feel. Because we're so unconscious when we eat, we're not present when we eat. So we eat a meal, like as a personal trainer, I have this happen all the time. Like one day, one of my students will come in and be like, oh, I feel so tired, I'm heavy, I'm not feeling too good. I'm like, oh, why do you think that is? They'll be like, I don't know. I might be getting sick, relating it to all these different things. And then you find out, oh, what did you have for dinner last night? Indian food? Oh. Then you're like, oh yeah, I had Indian food and that happened to me before. And they're like, well, duh. It's like, we just so unconscious that we can go through these different feelings and not even know that it's the food that we're eating that's doing that to us. So for me, one of the biggest ways that this came up to me was I used to eat oatmeal every single night. That was like my, when you're straight gains, bro, you want to have that oatmeal for the slow release throughout the night. But what I found was when I eat oatmeal at night, I wake up in the morning and I feel super groggy, super heavy, super lethargic, and I also wake up hungry. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. Am I not getting good enough sleeps? But then once I started to recognize that food has such an effect on the way we sleep and our mood and our energy levels, all those different things, then I was able to pinpoint that, oh, this oatmeal is the thing that makes me feel like that. And also chocolate. I used to love chocolate. I still love chocolate. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. But I used to eat a lot of chocolate and I used to get a lot of zits. And you know what I would do? I would go to the doctor, try to get these certain creams, get this like benzoyl peroxide, get this like these different formulas that are just burning up my skin, making me feel uncomfortable, red skin. And I would be like, yo, what's the magic formula? And I wouldn't even think like, yo, it's the food, it's the chocolate, it's the lack of drinking water, it's like the no freshness in your food that's giving you these blemishes, that's making you break out and giving you these zits. So those are just two ways that me being more aware and more present and more conscious of how food is affecting me after the fact was able to influence my eating decisions to make it so I have better outcomes, more suitable for what I desire. So just being a little bit more conscious, a little bit more present after and during your eating is gonna help you a lot to master this intuitive eating and to master the perfect way of eating for yourself. And another way of taking advantage of intuitive eating is by doing your research and by studying and by reading about foods. Because a lot of the times we just don't know that food has a certain effect, or we don't even know that food can make us feel certain ways, or we don't know even how to describe certain feelings. So when I would wake up in the morning and I was tired, I would think that it's a lack of sleep. But now after I researched food and researched mental fog and how food can lead to mental fog, then I had this method of describing my feelings. And also realizing that different food can give you energy, can help you get this flow of energy through your body. Something like Shilajit. So I never even knew that was something that was possible before. So I was completely shut down and blind to that whole factor. And I was desensitized. So once I increased my sensitivity and I was like, hey, this Shilajit is supposed to make me feel a little bit more energy. It's supposed to be a destroyer of weakness and to make me feel ultimately powerful. Let me try it and see what it does. Next time you try it and you see that it does exactly what it was supposed to do, boom, you have another weapon in your arsenal to be the best version of yourself. So doing this research and experimenting and studying these different herbs, these different foods is gonna help you to take advantage of intuitive eating. And another way to take advantage of intuitive eating is to experiment, as what I said before, is to start to look at food and eating as a less of a rigid, strict way, as in fitting into this certain box of how I have to eat, and start to think of it as more of an experiment. To think of it as, oh, if I eat this, then this will happen. You try that out for 2 weeks, however long, and you see, did that make me feel that way? Yes, it did. Then boom, you have more arsenal in your toolbox. You have more ability to take advantage of the things in your environment. Because, you know, that's how I actually got started on being a vegan, going plant-based. It was because I wanted to utilize this intuitive eating and I wanted to get more of that connection and more playful and experimental with my food. So I said to myself, I'm gonna try going plant-based for 2 weeks and I'm gonna see how it makes me feel, because it's supposed to be really good for me. I tried it, made me feel good. And you know what I do? Every day, I'm not saying like, I'm a vegan, I'm only gonna eat plants. But the way I approach it is, as long as this food makes me feel amazing, makes me feel energized, makes me feel great, I'm going to continue eating this way. So my intuition is what guides me and leads me into being plant-based, into being vegan. Sorry, I love animals, but it's not due to the animals. It's not because I feel sorry for them. It's because I'm trying to maximize how I feel, and that's how you maximize how you feel, okay? And another thing about intuitive eating is to understand that for you to put on or gain weight while doing intuitive eating it's a little bit of a different approach, because as you eat intuitively, if you do gain weight, you're gonna be gaining weight towards your ideal weight. So right now I'm about 172 pounds, right? And I know that's like around my ideal weight. So as long as I eat intuitively, I'm gonna stay around 172, between 170 and 175. And with that, if I want to gain weight, I know what I gotta do. I gotta kind of go against my intuition and put another scoop of food into my plate, to put another 2 scoops, to have another meal, to snack when I don't really feel like I want to snack. So as you can kind of see by this, is doing that is unnatural. So a lot of what we want to do to put on this extra weight, to look a certain aesthetically pleasing way, is unnatural. And just having that awareness in your mind doesn't mean it's bad, but just to know that this isn't the best thing for your body. Because when you're eating intuitively and you're eating to how you feel your best, you're gonna find that certain weight and then you'll stay at that weight. So if you wanna gain or lose weight during your intuitive eating, first find out that ideal body weight for yourself. Find out what it is when you feel your best. Because right now I'm at my best. I move my best. My energy levels are at its greatest. Like, I feel flexible and mobile. I feel empowered. And I know if I go off that a little bit, I'm going to feel a little bit different. But I'm all right with that. If I want to put on a little bit weight, if I want to get up to 180, I'm all right with feeling a little bit heavier, feeling a little bit weighed down. Because that's one of the side effects of wanting to put on that weight in the first place. So that's another way to implement and to utilize the intuitive eating. Another thing with intuitive eating you may ask is, well, how do I know what's like good for me? Because I have all of these cravings. I have all of these bad habits. So you may be like, well, Akeem said to eat intuitively. And my body is telling me right now it's 1 a.m. that I should go eat half a tub of ice cream, right? I should go eat that food. And yeah, my body's telling me, that's my intuition, yeah, right? But missing the thing, because how are you gonna feel that next day, right? So with intuitive eating, you're gonna start to be able to separate the difference between what your body needs and wants to function at its optimal form against what it needs and what it wants to feed those cravings, to feed the parasites, to feed your emotions that you're trying to cover up. You're gonna start to see this difference. And then you're gonna start to, it's interesting, once you get to this level, you're gonna start to be able to pinpoint, oh, I want ice cream right now. Well, shoot, what's going on? Because usually when I want ice cream, it's due to me being stressed or sad or whatever it may be. And then you're gonna be able to pinpoint that instead of using it as my body wants this. It's a craving. It's me satisfying that urge from my body. So that was a pretty long explanation, but to break it down in the most simple terms is intuitive eating is knowing what to eat and how to eat to make sure that you are at your best at all times. And that's the goal, isn't it? So thank you all for joining my channel, for tuning in, for showing love. I'm gonna join Anchor, which is a podcasting platform which allows the users to call in. So I'm gonna post my Anchor below. And if you have any questions, if you wanna call in, you wanna know anything more, then tune into that. And then you could send me voice questions from there. And then I could either answer them on my channel or on my Anchor. So, just trying to connect more. I love the community that's building here. We got something great going, something really powerful going. And, just trying to make it so we all have the most tools possible for us to be at our best. So I hope this kind of demystified a little bit about how you should know what to eat, what diet is the best for you, what method you should go about. Do for yourself. Do what feels best for yourself and start to invest some time in to figure out what that is. All right, family? So thank you once again. Smash that like and subscribe button. Show love. Share this with someone if you feel they need to, they need to help demystify the subject. And just thanks for showing love. Ja Rastafaro.